Here we
All
go.
right.
Okay, hey there, guys. Here today we are with Rodney Pierce, and he's a candidate for Clerk of Court. So thank you
Thank you for having me.
thank you for being here with us. And just introduce yourselves. Give us a little bit of background.
Okay. Well, my name is Rodney Pierce, and I'm a resident of Union County. I'm a native of Union County. I was born in the Wingate area and reside in the Marshville area. It's closer to New Salem than Marshville, but graduate of Forest Hills High School, where I met my wife when we were both 16. And we just celebrated our 33rd wedding anniversary on April Fool's Day. I have 3 grown children who were all raised here and reside and work in Union County. I started my career with the Monroe Police Department in 1986 and worked for them for 30 years and retired in 2016. During that time, I did just about everything that a police officer can do. While I was an officer, I went back and finished my college degree at Pfeiffer University. I'm not a stranger to hard work. I had 3 children at home. I went to class 2 nights a week, sometimes 3 nights a week, and every Saturday for a couple of years to finish my bachelor's with Pfeiffer. And that was wasn't a lot of online learning back when I went back through. So we actually were driving to class. And one of the highlights that I had while I was at Monroe PD is I was assigned to the Drug Enforcement Administration out of the Charlotte office and worked the Western District of North Carolina. And for 8 years, I worked to disrupt and dismantle drug trafficking organizations that had ties to Union County. That's what we work. The group as a whole was very successful. We took a lot of drugs off the street, and a lot of one of the big things was people were cooking meth, and we worked a lot of counties that cook meth and work with precursors and people, what we call smurfing for the pseudoephedrine. Tracked a lot of that. After I retired, I got recruited by a company out of Atlanta area, and I did insurance investigations for industrial accidents, commercial vehicle accidents. And then in 2019, now Clerk of Superior Court, J.R. Rao, contacted me and asked would I like to be a magistrate here in Union County. And I was jumped at the opportunity to do that, to get back into public service. And so since early 2020, I've been a magistrate here in Union County.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for your service.
Well, thank you.
And so you did mention you're a magistrate. Most people don't know what that is. They've never heard of it. Can you just give us a little bit of what the roles and responsibilities are?
Sure.
Okay.
A magistrate is one of the first, if not the first, judicial official that you come in contact with if you're arrested, or if you're, and I'll give it to you in 2 parts. So if you're arrested, the officers come to the magistrate's office, present their evidence, their reasonable suspicion and probable cause, and magistrates decide if the officers have enough to proceed with the arrest. And if that's the case, then we speak to the person that's under arrest. We decide about bond, their conditions of release, or a citizen can come to us, and if they feel like that they've been wronged or a crime's been committed against them, misdemeanor larcenies and assaults, communicating threats, those type things, then we can decide whether to issue warrants or criminal summons against the person. Felony warrants have to be taken out, felony charges have to be taken out by law enforcement, but individuals can certainly seek warrants for misdemeanors. And we do a lot of marriages. Ordained ministers and magistrates in North Carolina can perform marriages, and I've lost track of the number of marriages that I've performed.
Okay. Now, are you one of several magistrates, or are you the only one?
No, we Union County. When I started, we had 7 magistrates. Currently, we have 9. Our legislature gave Union County 2 more positions. Now, we're the 8th largest county by population in North Carolina, and we have the magistrate's office is located at Union County Sheriff's Office, and we're what you would call the choke point for all legal matters coming before a magistrate. So every law enforcement agency brings anybody under arrest to us at the magistrate's office, and we're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we're busy. There's times when you need a couple magistrates in there, and then luckily there's some times where there's some slow periods, and but you never can tell when that is. It's you think a Wednesday night's going to be slow, and that could be the busiest night of the week for us.
Okay. So I read that a magistrate can act as an examining justice, which means that they can examine facts about serious criminal matters and decide to send the defendant to higher court. Have you ever served as an examining justice? And can you tell us a bit if you have?
Well, yes, ma'am. All magistrates that would apply. As I said, so when the officer comes before us and presents their evidence, we decide whether the officer has enough evidence to proceed. And there are times when an officer may not have enough evidence to proceed. He could be seeking several charges, and the magistrate decide that the facts fit this charge, but not this charge. And we discuss that with the officer. It's not just a blanket. I think some people have the idea that we always agree with the officer, and especially as I'm a retired officer, I have some of my most heated arguments with officers sometimes, and heated in a good way, but discussing, the facts of the case, because I want to make sure that I'm right. I'm there to serve everyone in the community and to ensure everyone's rights. When I started policing and got out on my own, I had a senior officer. We were talking one night, and he told me, he said, "Rodney, I want you to remember one thing." And I told myself this thousands of times in my head. He said, "I want you to remember that you were sworn to uphold the Constitution, not see how far you can tear it down." And I remembered that night, and for literally thousands of times I've said that in my head, and I carry that through today. No single charge is worth breaking my oath to uphold the Constitution. And just as an officer, and I do as a magistrate, if I can end my shift or end my day knowing that I knowingly did no harm, then I've had a good day. And I have people appear before me that are in many different states of moods and anger and happy. And I take all that into consideration, that they're in a situation that a lot of people don't find themselves in. And sometimes they may say something that they wouldn't normally say. And I don't hold that. That doesn't change the facts of the law. It doesn't change the facts of the circumstances of what happened.
Your literature states that you've assisted citizens in some of their most difficult moments. Do you want to highlight some of those moments?
When you're a young officer, and I started when I was 20, and then by the time I got out of rookie school and through the fire school when we were public safety at that time, I was 21 years old. And when you have to go as a 21-year-old and deliver death messages, when you go into a situation and people are having domestic situations, or they've lost loved ones for other reasons, either violence or natural causes, that's what I mean. You have to have a consoling spirit. You have to be able to talk to people, and I grew up real quick. And my training experience, and I think where I get a lot of my skill sets from, or dealing with people that were dealing with real issues, not dealing with them months later after it happened, but then in the moment. So, and that's it. Just thousands. Could be simple as having an automobile accident and someone injured. Sometimes an automobile accident is fortunately the worst thing that ever happens to some people. But you have to understand that as an officer, and I had to understand this is the biggest thing that's happened to these people or this person. And so I want to make sure that I assist them through that. Very few people call 911 just because they're having a good day and they want to tell somebody. It's usually dealing. And now as a magistrate, people come to us needing help. They have run out of options, what they know how to handle. And that's great. I've had family members, ask me for advice. And that's why we're there. We want to help people through training experience. How can I help you with your problem? Sometimes I have to tell people no. A lot of times I have to, this doesn't fit, and they get upset, but I can't change the law just to appease someone.
So with your extensive law enforcement background, you've definitely acquired and honed in many skills, I would imagine,
Yes.
and also as a magistrate. How would you use those skills that you've developed to execute your office if you're elected?
Well, the clerk of court, one of the functions, the day-to-day functions, is going to be managing the office. And with the personnel, I believe there's 44, 45. I'm sure that changes with, people coming and going. So you have a large office to manage. And of course you have personalities and laws change and procedures change, come down from the legislature. Forms change. I've had the good fortune of being a supervisor in law enforcement and managing people and dealing with those issues. So that is a skill set that I can bring in. I think I have a calm demeanor. Any office, especially when you're dealing, again, in the clerk's office, you're going to be dealing with people's problems and they're going to be upset. They may be upset because they've been a victim of a crime or they were the suspect and having to pay money. They've had a death in the family. They're having to deal with the estate. They may be dealing with an adoption or a competency hearing, foreclosures on their property. Learning how to deal with people, trying to stay calm, or knowing how to stay calm in situations, I think would be a big asset. And then if I can stay calm, then hopefully the assistants and the deputy clerks, I have no doubt that they don't stay calm now. I'm not, that's not where I'm going with that, but I want to be able to project, calmness and also be able to bring in a willingness to help people.
Mhm.
And help them through those difficult situations, as I did on the street as an officer and now as a magistrate. When they come into the clerk's office, I want to be able to help them deal with that and get them through the process as easily as possible. And let me say this: the clerk's office is very intensive paperwork, and we're the keeper of records. We gather money or take in money that's owed to the state and manage that money. My 8 years with the DEA, when you're dealing with, especially with the federal court system, paperwork and accuracy is so important. If it's not on paper, it didn't happen. And I learned that, and when I worked many, people call them wiretap cases, Title III investigations. Those things are so paperwork intensive that was really a good training ground for that accuracy. And that's something that I have instilled into me and that I would bring into the office of the clerk of court.
Is there currently an area where you see room for improvement, and what would you do to address it?
I work with the clerk's office now. J.R. Round is the clerk. He has a great office, and that is going to be some big shoes to fill to come in. I think as we progress in all industries and all government, I would like to bring in some more online resources or public education about some online resources. And I see that at the magistrate's office. There are several things that you can fill out online. Mm-hmm. Some paperwork that you'll still need to come to the clerk's office to file, but I'd like to do some public education and assist with that, so that you maybe want to fill out, let's say, a restraining order if you need one, a domestic violence protection order. There's resources that you can do that in the comfort and safety of your home, instead of being in an office somewhere doing it, where sometimes you in your office, you feel like you're restrained, or constrained on that, and you got to be in a hurry. Mm-hmm. So maybe letting people understand that they can do that would be an area that, and those things, there may be some things come up, or I'm sure there'll be some things come up that I'm not even aware of, or no one's aware of yet, that we'll be able to help the citizens with. It's about serving. I have served the citizens of this county more years of my life than not. So I want to continue, and any way that I can do that would be great.
So how would the residents of the county benefit from you as a clerk?
They would know that they have someone who has has, it's kind of cliche sounding, been through the fire. They would be hiring someone that's, or electing, not hiring. Well, it is a job interview, but they would be electing someone who they know is steadfast. It's not gonna just give up on something. Again, telling you, in 30 years of policing, there were a lot of days when I just felt like I've had enough, and opportunities to leave, but I stayed. I think the citizens would know they would have someone that was level-headed, that had the education, had the training, and that they can deal with people and would listen to their concerns and help them any way that I could. Again, my whole, except for about a year and a half after retirement, my whole adult life has been serving the people of this county in one form or the other.
Pressure. How would you handle pressure from leadership? Let's say if you were asked to do something unethical.
I wouldn't do it. I'll just tell them no. You know, I would answer to the citizens of this county. And it's a 4-year job. And in 4 years, if they thought that I wasn't doing the job, then they certainly could elect someone else. While in office, obviously you would be, if you did anything unethical or criminal in any way, you would fall under the administrative office of the courts. And there would be some recourse there to be removed. But I just wouldn't do anything unethical. I would just tell people no. And I would explain to them why I felt like it was unethical and why I'm saying no. But the easiest way not to get into that trap is just don't get close to it.
So you're saying that you would actually have the moral fortitude to withstand that pressure. And if, let's say, you were really put between a rock and a hard place, would you rather maybe just step down than cross that line?
I can't imagine a situation where I would be put into that as a clerk of court. Not saying that situation doesn't exist, but I would just say no. I don't think no one would force me to do anything unethical or illegal. Stepping down, I mean, again, I just can't think of a situation where I would even have to consider that. But I would never put myself in a situation to get that far.
All right. Well, those are the questions that I had. And would you like to tell the audience, the viewers, where they can find more information about you?
Sure. I have a Facebook page. It's Elect Rodney Pierce, Clerk of Court. You can find my regular Facebook page, Rodney Pierce, on Facebook. And I'm out at the polls, so you can come by. And
do you have a YouTube channel?
I have a YouTube channel, but it is absolutely nothing to do with campaigning. It's for, and I don't want to promote it on this. It's a cooking channel. So I'll leave it at that, but I would appreciate everyone's support. Again, I have spent all of my adult life, except for, I say again, about a year and a half, not working. I mean, working for the citizens of this county. And I believe I'm the right choice at this time for your next clerk of Superior Court.
Thank you so much. Sorry. I'm trying to find my